pivot from problem to possibility. A pivot from problem to possibility. And this pivot is so important because oftentimes our oppression, our condition limits what we can see and imagine, right? The issue of problem, we begin to engage in this persistent and consistent problem solving. And as leaders, we need to problem solve. But as a leader, if we're only problem solving, you just being like a firefighter, putting out problems and problems. Our responsibility is to have the other side of the equation as a leader is to see beyond the conditions that is there and lead people through it. Problem to possibility is a hard pivot. I always tell my students that the greatest consequence, y'all, the greatest consequence of oppression is not the barriers and the limits of our opportunities. That's not the greatest consequence. It's not racism. It's not the conditions. The greatest consequence of oppression is the destruction of our ability to see beyond it. We can't see it another way. And that we're never able to step back and actually imagine something entirely different. The conditions of our lives limit what we can see. And as a result of that, we are tethered to that condition. And this is why we continue to use language that still tethers us to the condition that we want to change. I don't want to live in a world that's anti-racist. I don't want to define what I want by the opposite of what it ain't. I don't want to define my reality by the absence. The absence of illness doesn't constitute health. The absence of violence does not constitute peace. So why am I defining the world I want by the anti? I want belonging. I want mattering. I want beloved community. Right? So we have to begin to look and think about even the language that we use to think about our work. And my students always are focusing so much. I gave them an assignment and I said, tell me about your jobs. And in their description of their jobs on that first time I gave them an assignment, they described their jobs as, my job is to resist white supremacy. My job is to disrupt police violence. My job is to fight for equality and struggle for justice. All of which are key and critical and important in our battle for justice. Then I asked them to write their jobs using only the open words. And they said, ooh, that was the hardest assignment they ever had. They could not even use and think about how to reimagine their community, how to create a different condition, how to design and play in a different way. And so even in our language, we have to interrogate the language that we use to describe the world that we want.